So what would have happened if Garp the hero fought in Marineford? So after reading chapter 957 of One Piece called Ultimate, and rewatching parts of Marineford that included Garp and pretty much the highlights, it got me thinking, what if Garp actually fought in the war? The only instance of Garp fighting in Marineford was when Marco was close to the scaffolding where Ace was. And you know what happened when Marco got close? Now it's safe to say that until chapter 957, Garp was pretty much underrated. Nobody thought he was as strong as he was hyped up to be. And everyone pretty much thought he was a lot of bark but no bite. Now this is going to include the spoilers of chapter 957, which I'm going to get into right now. So if you don't want to be spoiled on that, or if you're not reading the manga, click off of this. So pretty much in chapter 957, Sengoku's giving a history lesson to his new Marine recruits. Today's history lesson being the incident at God Valley. The incident at God Valley was the Rocks pirates showed up to God Valley, and apparently Vice Admiral Garp had to protect the Celestial Dragons. But the people that were included in the Rocks pirates were none other than 3 out of the 4 emperors before time skip: Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard. Not to forget about Rocks himself, the captain of the Rocks pirates. Now I know that he was allied with Goldie Roger in that fight. However, the fact that Goldie Roger and Garp by themselves would face 3 of the future emperors and a captain of the Rocks pirates who was apparently a rival to Goldie Roger in itself is a feat. Not to mention, we have to talk about when he flattened Don Chinjiao's head, a head that was arguably able to split a continent in half. Specifically the ice continent, where he buried his treasure, where unless he had the cone head, he was not able to split the island in half to get his treasure. Garp with one hit, and he also states that he destroyed 8 mountains in training, in preparation to do this to Don Chinjiao. So it's pretty much safe to say that Garp, as a character, on just pure strength and some of the feats that we know from him, would have changed the entire war had he fought in the front lines. Obviously, I know already that this whole situation in Marineford was a very tough situation for Garp, specifically because obviously Ace is his grandson. Obviously he didn't want his son to die, but he chose the path he walked. But to have some fun, let's look at it from the different perspective of Garp actually fighting the pirates in the front line. So the way I see it, had Garp fought in the war, the Whitebeard pirates probably would have lost earlier than when they did. Now before you jump to conclusions, oh my god, you gotta acknowledge one thing: Garp is healthy, Whitebeard is not. They're also both old. Anyone under Whitebeard would not be able to take Garp at all, as evident when Garp one-punched Marco. Granted, he didn't knock him out, but it's pretty evident just from that encounter that it wouldn't be an easy feat to take over Garp. Now most of this is basically going to be conjecture only, because there's not really specific feats that we haven't seen a full fight from Monkey D. Garp, right? It's always been, oh, Garp did this, Garp the legend, Garp the hero, blah blah blah. We haven't seen an actual full-fledged fight until kind of now, where we see or we hear about what happened on God Valley. The way I look at it, Garp arguably would be, him and maybe Sengoku combined would be 2 people that would arguably either take down Whitebeard or at least put Whitebeard in a stalemate where he can't advance further. Because when you think about it, especially with the revelations from chapter 957, Garp has combat knowledge through fighting Whitebeard in that fight, and arguably you can probably assume that he has fought Whitebeard throughout history as well, time to time, because there's obviously a long time gap from Marineford, from God Valley to Marineford. So one can assume that Garp knows how Whitebeard fights. Now I won't include the fight with Akainu that Whitebeard had as a detractor towards Whitebeard, simply because the fight that he had with Akainu was basically Whitebeard raging just completely out. He was pretty much just gone. There was like no, his sole focus on fighting Akainu was pretty much just ending him completely. So he pretty much didn't care about, especially after Ace's death, he pretty much didn't care about his well-being, which is why like there's so many instances where Akainu pretty much basically killed Whitebeard, but obviously his insane rage and just durability just kept him pushing forward. Like the moment where Akainu punched him in the stomach and let magma go inside of his stomach and pretty much blow up, and then like the part where he blasted Whitebeard in the face with fire and in the middle of his chest. There are many moments where Whitebeard pretty much should have been dead from his insides just being burning. However, I don't include it only because, again, that was a moment where Whitebeard was completely just gone, like loose cannon, 100% just full-on rage. You also gotta incorporate Whitebeard's sickness. If Garp and Sengoku are fighting Whitebeard, I'm pretty sure the combined stamina of Sengoku and Garp would be much higher than Whitebeard's himself. That's even if they need Sengoku, considering how strong Garp really is. So much so that in Marineford, after Akainu killed Ace, many people thought this was at face value or didn't really believe him, because everyone really looked at Garp through the lens of like his title of Vice Admiral, not Admiral, you know? After Akainu killed Ace, Garp was on a warpath to kill Akainu immediately. The only person that stopped him was Sengoku. And he even told Sengoku if he doesn't hold him down, he will kill Akainu. But after everything that I've talked about, I believe that Garp, had he fought in the war, probably would have pushed Ace's execution up, probably would have honestly made Ace die a lot quicker, Luffy probably wouldn't even have been able to get to the scaffolding. Now, I'm not saying that Garp would have fought Luffy. I think the same result would have happened where he would have confronted Luffy had he gotten to that point. But I don't think he would have punched Luffy straight out like he, would have fought an enemy. But if Garp was fighting every other enemy aside from Luffy, I think it would have just been a no-holds-barred I think the war would have gone entirely different. The only other feat I can think of for Garp is after Enies Lobby in Water 7, when Luffy and Ko were leaving. Pretty much his fleet was attacking Luffy, all the cannonballs, and Garp was literally throwing a cannonball the size of a building, like with his hand, and all the cannonballs that were launched prior were all through his hands. So that is some insane raw power that he uses. So yeah, for all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this discussion video for One Piece. This is pretty much a test kind of video to test the water, see how everyone's feeling this, because I made a poll. The majority of you pretty much said yeah, and I really wanted to talk about this, especially after reading the chapter and looking at Marineford recently again, and just thinking how differently the war would have been had Garp would have been in the front lines. So hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed, make sure you follow me on my Twitter. And again, this isn't I'm not a super power scaler type guy. I'm not gonna power scale like how Garp can move at the speed of light, or can crush quintillions amount. I don't care about that. I just look at what the feats were given and the context of the story, and the story, what it tells us. And to me, with the knowledge of fighting Whitebeard before, and his overall power being healthy, and we can argue that he's also gotten stronger with age, like Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. To me, the way I see it, the entire war arc would have been entirely different in Marineford had Garp been in the front. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.